Let's now talk about certain principles of language assessment. In order to assess the effectiveness of a test, it is very important to lay down certain criteria to judge how a test works. In this regard, we could see validity is an important criterion. Validity focuses on to see that is a test measuring exactly what it is supposed to measure. A test may not be valid if it's not measuring what it is supposed to measure. For example, if you are assessing or testing a student's writing ability based on an essay question which requires a specialist skills or specialist knowledge of biology or any other subject, so this would not be fair with the student and test would not be valid. Those students who have a greater level of knowledge about those specialist fields of knowledge, they would probably be graded better than others. A test is also not valid if it doesn't produce similar results to some other measures as well. Similarly, we can also see that a test is also not valid if it is not being marked in a valid way. In this regard, we can give example of assessing or measuring a test, listening test for spellings or vocabulary items. By that I mean that if we grade a speaking test based on the errors in a student's effort in relation to grammar or spelling, would not be fair, and this would not be a valid test. Reliability is another important criterion for a good test, and it believes in the consistency in the production of results. It believes that if two groups of students appear for the same test twice in 2 days, they should have similar results, and especially if they do so without any reflection to the first test. I mean, same test conducted twice with the same students should have the same results in ideal situations, and similar tests should produce similar results. Reliability, however, may be enhanced by reducing the scope of variation in the possible answers of questions. It may also be enhanced by writing down or explaining the instructions of test clearly to the participants or test takers, and by also making the test conditions constant at different stages. Washback effect is another consideration in teaching and assessment, and it is actually based on the notion that teaching sometimes is preoccupied by the notion of the future test and their various components, and teachers would like their students to pass those tests and examination. Therefore, they would always be concerned by the demands or requirements of those tests. So teaching is therefore dominated by the demands of test. This is what we call washback effect of test. Where non-exam teachers who do not focus on exam preparation, they have the luxury of introducing a variety of exercises within their classrooms. Exam teachers are always preoccupied with the exercises or activities related to future tests or examination, because, as I said earlier, they would always want their students to pass the examination. There could be some things which may be considered in this regard, which could provide a relief to exam teachers. They may prepare their students for examination, and at the same time they can work on their learning as well. For example, a modern test, especially the direct items when direct items are included in them, they focus and grounded far more in classroom activities and methodologies. But this could make testing and classroom activities a lot better. And it's also important to build a variety of activities even in the preparation of examination, and it would produce certain fun for the students, and they would be interested in classroom activities by that way. Good exam preparation teachers need to familiarize themselves with the test so that they could transfer that to their students as well, and their shyness with examination or their lack of awareness about the different techniques of examination may be reduced. However, these exam teachers need to distinguish between making their students prepare the examinations, and at the same time they should work on avoiding being swept by the washback effect of these examinations or tests. What can we do in this situation? There could be some possible answer to this. For example, we can train our students for test type. In this regard, we can introduce various test type to our students in the classroom. And as I said earlier, in this way, their lack of awareness about these test type would be reduced. And they would know what is needed and what they would approach in the coming tests. For example, if students are about to confront MCQs in their future test, teacher can introduce various kinds of multiple choice questions to them, and they could work on making their students distinguish between various kinds of these questions. And at the same time, they could also train them in finding the obvious detractors, which is an important skill in multiple choice questions examinations. They could also discuss general exam skills or abilities and with the students, because without this, a lot of effort they put in the classroom would be wasted. And there is a possibility that their student may spend more time on just one part of an examination. So, in order to avoid this imbalance in their preparation, they should talk to their students about general examination abilities. At the same time, they could make their students practice exams, mock exams, and they could help their students taking their examinations easily, have fun with examination. In this regard, they could introduce certain activities in the classroom. For example, they could ask their students to prepare test items on their own and based on their previous experience. This would definitely alleviate their pressure, their psychological pressure of examination, and they would take it quite easily.